Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Warm welcome to one and all for the fourth session of the Super 25 program, India's largest online stock traders conference, offered as a part of Traders Gurukul community. I am Ashok Devanampriya. I am the host of today's program. Today, we have an option expert as a speaker to share his knowledge and experience in the topic of iron condors, its variations and adjustments. Just to give you a very quick brief about Santosh, Santosh Pasi runs a company called Pasi Technologies. He has been in the options domain for quite a long time. He has almost 14 years of experience in this industry, and he is one of the few guys who designed the plugins and other related aspect for the option oracle tool for Indian markets. With this brief intro, I would request Santosh Pasi to take off. Sir, thank you so much for being a part of our speaker family. The stage is yours. Thank you.
Thank you, Ashok. Thank you so much for inviting me here. And I hope this session is useful for a lot of guys over here. So, good evening, everyone. I hope in this corona crisis, you guys are staying at your home and stay safe. And in fact, Iron Condo is one strategy that provide that, I mean, some kind of a safety. Okay. So, it's going to provide you some kind of a limited loss in case something happens. So welcome once again. So GoTo Webinar is the sponsor for this program. So I'm going to move forward. Before we start, these are our disclosures and disclaimers. So remember, whatever you do in trading, it carries some amount of risk. Okay, and this is only for the educational purpose. Okay, and in case if you're downloading any data from our tool, so you need to verify at your end before you rely on those data. And this is no tips or advice services, and whatever samples or maybe examples I'm going to put it forward, I may be holding those or may have hold those. Okay. This is about introduction about me. So as Ashok said, I'm being there into the industry for more than 14 years, and my focus is to trade options, and that too based on volatility. So we consider volatility as my first parameter, and then other things follow. And mostly I'm a non-directional trader. Okay, so I don't want to see mostly trends. So we do some mathematics around the futures and options data, and maybe options chain data, and then based on that we design iron counter strategies, or basically a non-directional strategies, but it may be slightly a bullish or slightly a bearish, but it won't be a pure bullish or pure bearish. Then we have a tool called Options Oracle, that is India's most widely used strategy tool, and it is there in the industry since 2008. Okay, we are managing it since 2015, and it is a free tool, so you can go to my site and you can download and use it. Then we being into the like three T's of trading world. So three T's means we trade for ourselves. Then we are into trading. I mean trading and training, as well as into tools. Okay, so I've been conducting a different kind of workshops across India, and especially non-nationals. Then that too options only focus areas. We don't train in other subject. We want to focus only on options. Apart from that, I've done like a few things like hobbies, or maybe you call it adventurous activities, like a kind of skating. I can do very well ice skating, then roller skating, bungee jumping, skydiving. So those kind of crazy stuff I've already done, and then I moved to the option. Then options give me that kind of satisfaction. Then I'm being working mostly in India, but I got the opportunity to work in UK as well as in USA. Apart from that, I've visited other countries like Australia, Singapore, and Sweden, especially like business related activities. So let me move forward. That's our agenda. So we're going to start with a standard iron condor. So we're going to see what is exactly iron condor, and then we go short iron condor. Okay, because that is what we normally use. The opposite of that is long iron condor. So we're going to see the payoff diagram, and then we will try to make some strategies on option oracle. Then we will go through the iron condor with the bullish view, then iron condor with a bearish outlook, and then again we will do those things in option oracle to make some sample strategies. or maybe we can see some my earlier trades or maybe earlier post, and then we're going to see a different ways to adjust iron condo in case if it goes against you. And we're going to see some real trade examples. Okay, so let me move forward. Okay, I hope you guys do understand what is options, what is call and put. Okay, and if someone asks me, hey Santosh, what is the best strategy you will recommend, considering you are a non-directional trader? So if I consider as a non-directional trader, the best strategy is nothing but it's called a short iron strangle. That is the best strategy, because here I'm going to short a call and I'm going to short a put. Okay, so I'm going to short a put and I'm going to short a call. And this is one of the my best strategy earlier days. Okay, but problem is that in this particular strategy, if market is a non-directional, then that's good. But if it becomes directional, either bullish or bearish, then it's going to provide you unlimited risk. Okay, and that is the biggest concern. So if you say what is the moksha of options strategy, I'll say short strangle. But problem is that if market moves drastically here and there, then that can become a nightmare. So problem is that this is a good strategy, but I want to control this undefined loss over here. So what are we going to do? We're going to add a insurance over here on the left hand side, and then we're going to add insurance on the right hand side. And once we add insurance to a short triangle, that is nothing but that's known as iron condo. So iron condo is a strategy where we're going to short a OTM put, then we're going to short OTM call, and then maybe a few slides down, a few slides above, we're going to buy the insurance. That will be a long put, maybe a deep OTM or maybe cheaper OTMs, and then we have to buy another insurance for the call side. That will be a long call. It could be a deep OTMs or maybe a few strikes above your short call strike. So in this case, what happens? You that risk which was earlier unlimited, now that is tapped. Okay. So in case if market drastically moves havoc like on the left hand side or maybe on the right hand side, you will end up with the loss. But now here it's a defined loss strategy rather than the earlier. In case of short strangle, we have an undefined loss. So in case if there is a gap down or gap up tomorrow because of whatever reasons, you may end up with the loss, but that will be a limited loss that we can digest easily, rather than if you use a short strangle, then that will be unlimited loss and that can become a nightmare. So let's see. In case of a short triangle, okay, you see we have two things. One is short put and short call. So these are the my source of income. So these are the main earning members in the family. So using that, we're gonna earn a profit, and whatever we have added longs. So that is a long put and the long call. Those we call it insurance, okay, or maybe a offset unit, or those different terms are there, okay. So this is known as a source of earning, or maybe you can call it a anchor unit, and this is offset unit, or maybe a main, and this is your insurance. Okay. So in that case, these are the earning members. So in that case, I need a expensive earning members, okay, because I need to get a more money from the earning member compared to what I'm going to buy as insurance. My insurance should be always cheaper. So assume that even if you're a car, if you buy the insurance, your car should be worth 10 lakh, then you should are happy to pay maybe 10% of that as your premium. Or if you go for your some sort of insurance, life insurance, so the standard is that if you go for like some insurance of maybe 10 lakhs rupee, then those guys will say, okay, you have to pay 1/10 of that as your premium. So insurance should be always cheaper. Maybe it's life or maybe even in the options trading. So short puts and short calls should be expensive. Just remember that. And then you have to go a long put and long call. Those should be cheaper than short put and cheaper than a call, short call. So just remember, it has to be expensive and this has to be a cheaper. So this is a standard option or a standard iron condo that normally we prefer to use, and this is known as a short iron condo. Okay, so in short, iron condo, these two things would be expensive. Okay, and then we're gonna have a cheaper insurance on both the side, and we're gonna earn money from this shorts. So that's the reason this is also known as a credit strategy. And if you consider on the left side of this, okay, short put and a long put, if you see this combination, this is a expensive short put and cheaper long put. So we will gonna call it a vertical spread. So it has a different name. So we may call it a vertical spread this side. We do have a call vertical spread this side. As these are the credit strategy, we may even call it this is a vertical credit spread on the left hand side, and we do have a vertical credit spread of call on the right hand side. Okay, and if you ask me what is the name of this strategy, if there is a name for this particular strategy, That is known as a bull put spread, and this will be known as a bear call spread. So this is like bullish strategy, left hand side. This is a bearish strategy. So once you combine bullish strategy plus bearish strategies, that becomes a non-directional strategy. So that's the reason iron condor is nothing. It is a non-directional strategy. Now, let's say if we took a short iron condo, in that case, there will be a opposite party would be there. So assume that we have only one single opposite party. In that case, whatever we went for the short, that guy will go for long. So he will go for the expensive put long, and then he will go for expensive put expensive call long. So he bought expensive things and then he shorted a cheaper things. In that case, this will be known as a long iron condo. So this will be a debit strategy. So in the industry, if you ask a lot of guys, they normally prefer to go for a short iron condo rather than using a long iron condo. But as you know, in the trading world, we need to have a opposite component, opposite party, then only the transaction will take place. Okay, so I'm going for something like short, then definitely my opposite party, if it's a single party, then he's going for a long iron condo. So these are, I mean, typical standard variations. So one is a short iron condor. So that is a recommended one to be used. And then the opposite party is a long iron condor. Now let's see the payoff diagram. Okay, so typically the payoff diagram would be something like this. Okay, if you see a perfect picture diagram, this would be similar to like this. So I'm ready to lose maybe a 1 rupee or two, 1 rupee over here, and I'm expecting like 2 to 3 rupees to earn. Okay, so that is a perfect picture of your earn condo, and then you should have a sufficient range because this is a non-directional strategy. So I don't want this range to break. Okay, so I'm risking maybe 1 rupee, and I'm hoping that I'm going to earn maybe 2 or 3 rupee, and at the same time, I'm expecting that market should stay above these numbers, that is nine, whatever numbers are over here and above below this number. So that is a feature of a non-directional strategy. So here you need to make sure that this range is good enough that can survive until the expiry. Okay, if you see this is my maximum profit potential, so I can earn maybe around roughly here maybe 62 or 63 points, versus this is my maximum loss potential, maybe around 30 or some 35 numbers over here. And these 2 points are known as a lower protection, and this one is known as upper protection. So this is my maximum profit potential, this is maximum loss risk, and this is my lower protection, and this is what my upper protection. I'm ready to lose this much amount versus potentially I may gain this much amount. Okay, so if you're making a iron condo, you have to make sure that this is typically low, I mean smaller in the size compared to this one. So in that case you may have like higher chances to be a winner, but at the same time you have to show that this is not so thin. So you need to have a sufficient range among this. Okay, now let's say my opposite party. If I would taken this trade, then let's say the opposite party trade. So that guy would be in long iron counter. His picture would be something invert of that one. So he's gonna lose. He's gonna earn this much versus he's risking this much. So technically, this is not my right perfect picture for the iron counter. Rather than if you ask me what would be the right picture, I would say this one. So I'm ready to lose maybe this much versus a potential to earn twice of that. Okay, so we have to make sure that whenever you make an iron condo, you should see a perfect picture of that. Okay, if you're seeing the perfect picture out of the box, it means this is a good strategy. If you are not seeing a perfect picture, it means you are just forcing the strategy. Okay, so let's see this one. Okay, as you can see, I'm just perfect picture out of the box. So we're gonna make some strategy today. Okay, and we're gonna see whether we getting a perfect picture or not. So let's go to the Optionalriker. That is our tool, and we will see practical rather than just only theory. Okay, so let's go to the Optionalriker over here, and maybe I'm gonna start a new Optionalriker, and we're gonna make one strategy. And if you guys are aware of what was the result on Sunday, which company's result was there on the Sunday, anyone can put me on the chat. There was some bank whose earnings season results were expected on Saturday. What was that, guys? That was ICICI Bank. So it means the volatility is very high. Now condition comes why we need a volatility, because here if you say iron counter, it is the best strategy to be traded when your volatility is very high. So you have to make sure that volatility is high, then only you go and jump for the iron counter. If your volatility is low, then you may prefer to go for a long iron counter. But if volatility is expensive, high or very high, in that case go and prefer for a short iron Condor. So as we expecting that ICICI Bank's results is there on a Saturday, assume that. So here whatever we are seeing, we're going to see a price of a Friday closing. So according to this data, result is expected. It means what is still high. So let's go and make a iron Condor over here.